Move like a snake, like a snake. Move like a snake, like a snake. Move like a, move like a snake, like a snake. Shout out to the family. Shout out to Dreamwise Honcho, She Rang, Prissy Mystic, Rebel, Dark Major. We are in the building. Like, share, subscribe this video. I don't ever say that, but today I'm saying it. Share, like, subscribe, do all of that good shit. You understand what I'm saying? Don't just watch passively. If you've been there's people that watch your videos every day and don't even subscribe to your channel. Stop that. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, all because the schedule is random, because the energy is random, family. So today we are talking about psychological operations in an invisible war. Without no further ado, let's bring our main man, the man of the hour, Mr. Donald J. Trump, to open up this conversation, and we gonna elaborate on some of the ideas that the leader of the free world is expounding upon.
But I want to say that I know that this is a challenging time for all Americans. We're enduring a great national trial, and we will prove that we can meet the moment. I want to assure the American people that we're doing everything we can each day to confront and ultimately defeat this horrible, invisible enemy. We're at war. In a true sense, we're at war, and we're fighting an invisible enemy. Think of that. So it cost me billions.
So an invisible war, fighting a horrible enemy, and then particular information being disseminated. So family, without no further ado, please do not share no more videos about the CV, whether it's in my Instagram inbox, my Facebook inbox, my goddamn email. No more CV videos, family, because all of this shit that people talking about is information. And the thing about information is undefinable. What else is undefinable? Energy. You can't define energy. You can't define information. You can't define matter. Okay? You can't define anything except your subjective perceptual moment. Okay? So when you start to talk this information in this particular Chris Brown situation that's infecting the nation, it's all a result of information. What is information? Information is angel numbers. Angel numbers is bullshit. Angel numbers is made up. So when you refer to angel numbers, you're referring to information, meaning you are put in some particular form on this particular vibration, which you feel is right and exact. Now, I could say 2 means water, and 3 means a table, and 4 means a candle, and 5 means some liquor, and 7 means some cans of soda. Okay? And put it online. And if I have 1 million people saying, oh, you a number 7, you a can of soda, then so be it. Of course, people gonna look at us like we crazy, but we've created a system based upon information. So family, when y'all listen to these long ass videos centered in information and not experiencing, you doing more damage to your subconscious than you even realize, man. I'm speaking my truth today, because it's real interesting when something happens and you see all these particular celebrities get on all one accord, start doing concerts from their cribs and shit. Everybody on Instagram Live doing stupid ass battles of music that I don't even like to listen to. And everybody acting like that shit is hard. Man, that shit is weird. That shit. The world has gone crazy. And information is the cause of it. Okay? So what we talking about, what we discussing is a psychological operation. And a psychological operation is an operation to convey selected information. Okay, and I'm gonna refer back to this slide, but let's just start there. Are operations to convey selected information. What is information? Because every day people get on here and talk about information that they've received, that they've constructed, for which they have given form in their mind and their knowledge, and then begin to disseminate it and spread it as if it matters. So I just want to explain this in the realms of scholarship. And scholarship is beyond information. It gives us a consensus to either argue or agree with. So when I bring my information in reference to information does not exist within itself, then you can call in and argue with me and say that I'm lying. And saying, no, the videos that I've been listening to about the Chris Brown is actually true because I listened to it and I like the person that's speaking. I like his voice and I like his information. But I'll say that did nothing for you. It did absolutely nothing for you in the actual right and exact of the days and times for which we're living in. See, we've gone beyond the information age. The information age, the technological age, the artificial intelligence is already dead. Okay? So what's now happening is an awakening to what is what. So without a shadow of a doubt, I'm going to destroy information. So therefore, now that you can't rely on information, I'm going to force you to do something else besides listen to niggas pontificate on particular subjects for which they've read another person's words on about, and challenge you to express yourself from particular experiences or particular spiritual channels or particular downloads, or basically coming from within to a whole new perspective. I challenge you in that form and fashion. Speaking of form, we're talking about information, which is basically etymologically giving form. And we call information knowledge. And since knowledge is power, governments, corporation, your mama, they try to inform and send out this particular vibration out and about the ethos throughout the atmosphere. And so as spiritual beings, we have to particularly contend with varieties of forms, thought forms that either vibrate with your internals or it does not vibrate with your internals. And when people have been producing these thought forms in reference to the Chris Brown situation, I don't agree with their thought forms. I reject their thought forms. And the thought form that I'm presenting, you feel free to reject it as well. But this is the energy of what I'm referencing. It's not to say that I'm speaking to myself, because I bring information every day. So the first person I'm saying that you reject is me, first and foremost. However, the ideas that I'm bringing forth is kind of like a revelatory, like everybody is going right. I'm just trying to go left and give you another idea to think about or to expound about and possibly create your own thought forms as opposed to absorbing other people's thought forms. Because when we try to define information as knowledge, there is no real clarification or understanding. This is why meditation is more important than absorbing knowledge. So within all of my conversations, I hope that people would meditate over listening to other people, right? And this is this is not like the most easiest thing to discuss, but it's the most honest thing to discuss as we deal with the realities of where this energy may take it to. Because if we relying on particular software, then if shit ever hits the fan, you wouldn't necessarily have no backup plan. So I wouldn't want you to take your family for granted. I wouldn't want you to take your loved ones for granted, your parents, your friends, the people closest to you. I wouldn't want you to take those people for granted over developing a relationship with a person online, right? I want the people in your household to be closer to you than I am close. I don't want to live in your heart and mind. I don't want to control you psychologically. I want you to find your soul for yourself, and I want your soul to lead you to whatever realms and possibilities and imaginations that it can produce. I don't want to give you the thought forms that I'm creating. I want you to create your own thought forms, your own servitors, your own entities, your own God, your own reality. When people get on here and discuss information, in particular thought forms which are already created, they're not helping the energies evolve into a new alchemy, a new space, a new time. Even more so, there is no spiritual hierarchy. When I deal with souls, I put you on a pedestal because I see the greatness in you. It's the namaste principle for which I stay in. When I look on YouTube, what turns me off, and just me personally, is this idea that there is a spiritual hierarchy based upon the studying of information and knowledge. As if information and knowledge exists. It doesn't. Information is energy. What do I mean by that? A computer without software, electrical currents, is just a block of metal. So if you don't have the particular energy tied into the information, then it's useless to have all of this information about the Chris Brown and have no particular energies associated with it. You just bought a computer, but you don't have an electrical hookup. You don't have network supplies. Networking. What's the point? You're not online if you don't have a network. Do you have the particular softwares to even operate? So this is why we got to find meaning in our surroundings. And we could easily rely on this technology and this information to be of some form of value and some form of truth. However, the more esoteric, abstract, indirect ways to get in contact with real knowledge, which comes from within, is not found on a YouTube screen. And I'm on YouTube every day. That's not the best thing that I could say about myself and my career and these things. Like, I could easily just not say this shit, right? In order for, people to still listen to me and people to still fuck with me. But I'm saying the right and exact truth of today and these times is really found in yourself and in your partners, your children, your mama and your daddy, and finding a love within that shit. Because when all this shit falls down and you relying on this actual structure we call information and technology, you ain't gonna have shit. You ain't gonna have nothing. So, I'm not talking about now, but as you can see clearly see the system is very close on the precipice of falling. So what is your backup outside of information? What is your backup outside of technology? So, in reference to what's happening in the realms of a psychological operation for which we are under attack, a invisible war, right? Military style type tactics, a psychological warfare is used to influence your emotions and motivations and your reasoning and your behavior. So what we have here is distorted emotions, distorted motivations, distorted reasonings, and distorted behavior. And any information produced from that boiling pot is based, it's like that's the base of your soup. And if the base of your soup is shit, and you want to add lobster tails and vegetables and, you know, seasonings and spices from abroad, the best cheeses, you know, the best meats, the primest cuts, right? But your base is shit. That soup, no matter what you do to it, is going to be shit. So when people reference information based upon a psychological operation, and they're not speaking to you outside of the psychological operation, they speaking to you within the psychological operation, you confusing yourself and your purpose and your path. It's very important to go within yourself and deal with your ancestors, deal with your downloads, deal with your decodes, deal with your journals, deal with your dreams, deal with your meditations, deal with your bodies of water, deal with the wind, deal with the stars, deal with the darkness, deal with the night, deal with the abstract, deal with the indirect, deal with the right brain, deal with the creativity, deal with the magic. Not the information. So, because you got to understand, when you reference inside these particular thought forms, they're carefully created, disseminated, and this product that's called the Chris Brown is a whole box of a good. And if you open it and examine its contents, that's what you are referencing. You got to understand that that box and those contents is just one small fraction to a whole world that's being present, that's opening up for you. So, in order for this thing to be successful, they have to base it in reality. And that's the issue. That's the problem. This thing is based in reality. It's based in the actual base, like the base of a soup. The base of the soup is literally a paradigm of shit. So when our scholars and the people that we respect enter into these realms of thought and don't stay centered and grounded in our ancestral truth, I don't know where they leading you to or what they open you up to from a scholarly level. Because from my scholarly levels, energy has not been defined. Matter has not been defined. Nothing has been defined. We can only kowtow and powwow about what we pondering on in the particular moment and finding the resonance and revelations within that particular moment. The same things I say now might not be relevant even a mere second from now. That's why I tend to go live. That's why I tend to stay in the moment. And I don't need my work to live on. I just need to stay present and I need to stay in the effervescent now. So with all that being said, I want to do two things. I want to do tarot readings for my Patreon, not for my Patreon, because I'm taking care of my Patreon family. But anybody who is interested on the fence, like I want to join Patreon, but I think this nigga's whack on doing readings. So I want to open the floor up for tarot readings. And then what I also want to do is open the floor up for people that want to argue and say, no, the information for which I've been hearing is right and exact, and the shit that you saying is complete bullshit. That's what I need to hear as well. So I'm gonna put the links in for Tapped In so I can get some arguments. Hopefully I hope I hurt some feelings and we can get some arguments started, because I like that too. But yeah, let's tap in. Yeah, yeah. Tapped in, tapped in. I'm already on there. Just hopefully I gotta send out the links one time for the family. Make sure we on manage participants. Copy this invitation. What's going on, family? Yeah, you know, everybody working with their ancestors nowadays. Sometimes the ancestors be like, sometimes the ancestors they be really happy and joyous. Sometimes they be like, here go this sword, nigga, cut some heads off, and you like, okay. Everything just comes into a particular alignment with me, especially these past couple of days. And I give thanks and ashe to all my ancestors and all my guides and everybody that's rocking with me, the family, my wife, my children, and all that. So please, family, please call in, tap in. I put the links in the descriptions. If you have Zoom, you can click the link. But if you want to call in, you can use that call in number. If it's giving you any trouble, let me know in the chat and I'll look into it. Don't tell me y'all scared, man. I'm gonna throw on some snake music, get y'all in the vibe one time. And waiting for somebody to call in, but let's vibe, have a good time, maybe dance a little bit, check them cobwebs off. Call in though, tap in. Primey. What's going on, brother man? Let me unmute you so we can. Oh, you unmuted yourself.
Oh, I
Okay.
didn't know I could. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What's going down, brother?
Yeah, man. I'm totally understanding what you're saying. Because I have always had a hard time relating to people, in my life, whether professionally or personally, because of my time awareness. Um, when people say talk about creating their own reality, I don't think that a lot of them understand the depth of what they're talking about because you know we have the power to collapse or expand on any stream of consciousness, matter, or energy that we want to. And I agree with you. I don't give information. I don't give energy to that to that Chris Brown phenomenon. People be emailing me,
Right,
putting stuff in my box, and I'm like, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see
right.
this. It ain't gonna help me. Like I think I told you the best information I heard from that is wash your hands with soap and water.
Mind
Because
blowing.
any right, any virus just has like a little thin protein shell over it.
Hmm.
And soap and water is the best way to break that protein shell up and get rid of it if you come into contact with it. You
Hmm.
know, what else do I need to know?
Right. Right.
So, I mean, I think psychological warfare has been going on for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and it's nothing new. Um, and there are people that basically thrive on it.
Yeah,
I
they
look at it
survive
when
off
I
of
look
it.
at the news. Yeah, when I look at the news, that's all I see. I
Mm-hmm.
remember in the '90s, the reason I stopped watching the news was when I first peeped that when you listen to them broadcast something, if you check the cadence and the tone, you might hear that they do it like in nursery rhyme tones or popular songs. They'll go da 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 da
Right.
da 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 da. If you just peep behind the words, and it's like it ain't necessary. I don't wanna live my life that way. When I look outside my window now, I see a blue sky, the sun's peeping out, I hear birds singing,
Ashe.
I see people around. You know what I'm
Ashe.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I am.
Right.
Shoot.
That's your
F
reality.
a, F a damn Chris Brown.
Yeah. Yeah. And people will perpetuate that, ad infinitum. And at least if one person could get on this frequency with me, I'll be cool, because I was just like, and basically I'm just referencing radical nature. I'm just referencing scholarly work, and what he presents is something that I could kind of be like, well, that makes more sense to me than a person just telling me some shit and me absorbing it to be factual. Give me
Right.
the ability to think critically when you talk to me,
Yes. Yes. Yep. Yep. Yep.
or
That's
at
all I
least
wanted to say.
apply what you're saying.
Yep. Yep. Right. Information. So I wrote on the chat
Mm-hmm.
the words inner formation
Mm-hmm.
because I've learned to
Ashe.
know information as a wave comes to me and I form an emotion, an opinion, a vision, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I form something about that wave that has come to me. That is information
Right.
because it's forming inside.
It's forming
And it
inside of
only
you.
has, exactly, it only has as much power as I give it.
Ashe. Ashe. Ashe.
You know? That's all I wanted to
Thank you, bro.
say.
Thank you, Prime. Thank you. And we should be talking
Word.
a little later, correct?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay, cool. Cool. So, just
I'm staying on to listen.
yes, cool. And then keep in contact as well sometime throughout the day and let me know your schedule, and we can kind of work some things out.
For sure. For
All
sure.
right. Dream, what's good, bro?
All right.
What's good, bro?
What's up? What's up?
Chilling.
Shit, I came on here to argue. For real. But that's correct and in line, man, because we do have to work on understanding this information as just uh observation. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like being the ultimate observer of it
Yeah.
and just not really taking it as facts or something. Like this whole 5G thing is crazy because like I was listening to Sonetta yesterday and I don't know
Mhm.
why the fuck I was listening to that shit. But it was like it was Polite on there and somebody else.
Uh-huh.
They were arguing, basically debating about, is 5G real or blah blah blah.
Mhm.
So then it also boils down to the fact of because they both had, quote unquote doctors or whatever that said this and doctors
Yes.
that said that.
Yes.
So now it's the discovery of, it's about who do you trust?
Man, look.
You know what I'm saying? Because
That's a
I trust
cold
KT.
game. That's a cold game, bro.
I know, man. So it's like crazy because I'm like, damn, KT, the arts degree broke it in half. And I'm like, damn, well, shit, KT saying this shit. Shit, I don't know. I might have to trust this nigga word.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? So it's interesting unless we have examples. And I think what we do really have to do with this 5G thing is to really look at China since
Right.
they already got it. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? and then really observe, because I know in areas like I was at the post office yesterday and they just cut on the 5G and I was like, oh shit. But it was in certain areas in Houston already.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's this predominantly rich area. We go shopping over there to get our groceries and stuff.
Right.
And they got it on over there. And I'm like, now it's time for me to evaluate the motherfuckers getting sick over here. Or, you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Exactly. And that's kind of where I was at with it. I don't necessarily know how the 5G is going to affect. I think about it like, well, maybe it's going to fuck me up, maybe it's not, or whatever. Like, I don't necessarily know because I've read actually positive things about 5G. And me and you, we can get into some shit. Well, we be like real talk, like, man, fuck that 5G shit. That 5G is the
Right.
5 dimensional shit, and we can have a whole build towards, the whole particular situation and talk about it in the realms of 5D. Completely forget about the 5G shit, create a whole paradigm of reality centered in 5D because that's what we chose to give energy to. It's like,
Right.
I don't necessarily know, man, because it's like the 5G, I wake up, sometimes I be nauseous and shit. And it just be like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel the radiation. Like, I low key feel the radiation. Like, if it was like mild effects of radiation, then I'm like, yeah, I feel that shit. And then my kids, it's like my kids, they goddamn toxic teenage mutant ninja turtles at this point, so it's just like, okay, like it ain't gonna affect
Right.
them, but I can low key, because I'm kind of older, I feel like, oh, I feel the energy for which they putting down, but it's like kind of low key being in like a microwave, and I'm like, well, motherfucker, don't turn this shit up, because at the end of the day, bro, if they feel like, all right, we about to kill everybody with this 5G, what the fuck am I going to do
Right.
about it?
Right. Right. Yeah, we can't do nothing about it. So it's like, because if they turn it on, they turn it on. The only thing, like we've been doing, we got like these seesaw lamps or
Yeah,
whatever. And we had ordered like 3 more
yeah, okay,
from
okay.
Amazon
Do they
just to
help?
be on the shit. I don't know. That's what the fuck I'm saying. I don't feel no different shit. But you know what I'm saying? It's just, and then we got the crystals everywhere and
Right.
the organite we
Yeah.
ordered from Jared Miller, a whole bunch of organites so we can just keep on us and our kids.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's about protecting yourself, not really being in fear of this thing, but honestly being a step ahead of it. But then
1,000.
again, like we were saying, we don't know if it's more so about the elite or the people to be putting this thing out in a manner where they trying to pull the catch 22 over your head and say,
Mm-hmm.
hey,
Right.
this is 5G, because they
Mm-hmm.
got agents like that.
Right.
Them agents will, uh, them agents will, put out information
It
that
make it
will,
seem real deep.
right, right,
So
that will
Dream, look,
uh,
can you can I hit you with something, man? Let me throw something in there, man. I got this friend of mine at work. She's hardcore scientist as they come, right? And I told her I was looking into some of this 5G stuff, and she starts going off on me about conspiracy theories and all this and whatnot. And I said, look, my main goal in the research that I'm doing is to find out what is the effect on biologicals. What is the effect on life, right?
all right,
Because it is the your microwave operates at about 2.5 gigahertz frequency.
Right.
5G can operate at 6 gigahertz frequency. So it is kind of like leaving your microwave door open.
I say.
However,
Yeah.
you know, the towers are tall up, right? And
mm-hmm.
right in front of the towers won't be a good place for birds and people.
No.
And I'm sure the best way to understand this is number one, get a manual from somebody who has to work on them. I bet that's going to be a close guarded, industrial secret. Like if you could find one of the repair manuals that tell the repair people, how to approach it, how much power to use when they testing it, when they're close to it, then you're going to get the facts. But my thing is, we all know, I shouldn't say that like that. Excuse me. A lot of people know that when you throw microwaves into the air, you're going to affect something. Okay, like I was talking with you, Hood, some time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it doesn't break the covalent bonds on O2, it's still going to make them move because the O2 molecule is paramagnetic. So it's going to spin just like microwaves make your water spin to heat your food up.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't destroy it, it just makes it spin.
Mm-hmm.
So the closer you are away from the source, the better off you'll be. And the effect is a range squared effect. So it's like if you're 2 feet away, it's twice as bad for you. Well, let me use another example. Sorry, if you're 5 feet away, and you have a certain effect, if you're then 10 feet away, you're going to reduce that effect, exponentially as you go along.
Right. Right.
So,
And the thing of it is like where we deal with it. My thing is radiation bad, or is like death bad, to where it's like that's where my mindset is at. Because if we get to a point like I, not to say nothing, but like organite and things like that, like that's the shit that we do. Like you gotta do that shit,
right,
regardless
right,
of any of this type of situation. Like we gotta stay protected and guarded. Whether this shit like we've been listening to motherfuckers this whole entire time tell us, shit was about to hit the fan, whatever the case may be. Protect yourself. And I guess the idea with this actual insurgent is the fact that maybe you wasn't prepared enough or prepared in the ways that you thought you needed to. So as this thing begins to normalize, stay ready. Don't get
so and
ready,
that's
stay
and
ready.
right, and that's my point. It's like I think, and this is my personal conspiracy theory.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're setting the stage to do lackadaisical research on 5G. They're setting the stage up so that anybody that talks about an effective 5G will be looked at like a crackpot or a
Exactly.
conspiracy.
One
You know what I'm
thousand.
saying?
1,000.
Right.
1,000%.
And there's this woman that did a bunch of research before this Chris Brown happened
Mm.
about cell phone exposure. And basically the bottom line is the amount of time you spend and how close it is to your body. The federal guidelines assume you're gonna be on your phone like once a week or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's something ridiculously low
I'm not even gonna
compared to
hold
how
you.
people use it.
I've been hearing about this shit for a while now. And the actual see it actually happening and see people get sick. Well, they've been actually saying that was gonna happen 6, 7, 8 years ago. They've been
Yeah.
talking about this shit. Ever since 4G, they've been talking about
Yep.
5G and its particular consequences, how it's going to make mad people sick. And when they installed it and goddamn, you can look up Huawei. And the moment they did the okay of the Huawei thing,
Yep.
you seen all of this shit start to happen. So it's nothing but radiation poisoning. And they
Right.
calling it a virus, bro. So it's just like you get to a point where it's like, okay, what do I need to do to protect myself from radiation
Exactly.
poison?
Exactly.
Fuck everything
Yep.
else.
Yep.
Because if you don't wake
Yep.
up a little
Period.
nauseous and feeling a certain type of way, then all right, superhero, you know what I'm saying? But
You good.
for a
Right.
lot of people, they waking up feeling some type of way and they don't know what's
Yep.
actually happening. So washing your hands is like really normal and natural that you should have been doing before any of this shit even occurred. You feel what I'm saying? So beyond that, how do you deal with the actual effects of radiation? Period, point blank.
Right.
And if you want to
Right.
talk about some other shit, then talk about some other shit. But
Yep.
you ain't talking to me about no damn virus when I got fucking millions of viruses and bacteria and germs in my shit
And
right
you
now that
already,
I do
that's
not
right.
even have the names for.
And they doing good for you.
And they might be helping my ass out.
Yep. That's what who was that?
That's what
Elaine.
KT was talking about. Yep.
KT was talking about Lee, man. KT, they brought up the idea, and Lalela Africa bringing up the idea that this stuff is getting turned on by this radiation and by like bad eating habits or whatever. You know
Right.
what I'm
Yep.
saying? Or diet or something like that.
Yep.
So, you multiply the effect of it turning
By
on
not
more
taking, yeah.
by
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 eating
not
shit
living
out the microwave.
right, doing shit like that. Yeah. Shit. You know what I'm saying? So you definitely gotta, stay mindful and be protective in these now times because, that shit is they turning this up and shit.
Mhm.
That's why I said yesterday on my little live, I was like, man, say it ain't no better time than this Dr. Sebi documentary to come out and for people to start taking their health a little bit more serious, a little bit more conscious of this thing. Because I already do that shit naturally. That's just in my being. I'm on a damn fast right now for no damn reason.
Right.
Well, because of nip. But
Can I interject?
yeah,
Please.
I've done a little bit of research on just what's in the body and to like help assist in the radiation situation, and the metals in monatomic forms or in colloidal forms give you what you need to offset radiation externally and actually keep it away. So I'm not sure if people are familiar with the monatomic golds, with colloidal silvers, coppers, things like that. But we got to start ingesting the souls of those metals.
yeah. I just took my little 5 whatever I had to take just this morning. And the gold blue pill got the gold, so that shit that's
Yeah,
going
man.
down.
Really get in. Really do your studies on monatomic gold, colloidal silver, and any of the either monatomic or colloidal copper. We all know these things to be the prime metals on this planet, and that we know, and iron as well. These things are inside of us, but we are deficient, totally deficient. When you get these things in these forms, they're in their most purest forms, because the most purest form is when it's in that soul-like liquid. When you turn it into a hard metal, that's the external side. That's the exaltation. Like gold is the actually having gold in your hand is the exaltation of the sun. Literally. You know what I'm saying? Like, why? For what? Because it causes it's a current, and it causes anyone around it to desire it from within. Money a little different, you know what I'm saying? Gold is actually carrying a currency, so you can have it and nobody can know you have it, but it's emitting a currency. I mean a current. Yep. So in our hearts, in our mind, in our bodies, we'll feel it on you. So just we have to become aware of our bodies from a spiritual place as well, and not listen to the fucking doctors at all, or at least not the ones in this country.
Exactly.
They contract killers.
I had got my T Jones some colloidal silver. She said, "What the fuck is this?" I said, "Mama,
that shit clean every single thing on the planet."
Period. I said, "Mama, just take it. Don't worry about it. Just take it. I got you." Shit, I had got her two things of that thing. She better be taking that shit too. Shit.
Like topical, ingesting it, man. You can pour that shit on your eyeball, man. It what it does is, we were talking about positive and negative ions the other day. It suffocates negative ions. It's like, imagine having like an army of positive ions to go and attack any area of the body, any area outside of the body, any surface area. An army of positive ions going to suffocate the negative ones. And like, they really do that shit. So this is changing our body from a molecular level and taking our spirits to a higher space, because gold clears DNA, it fixes DNA. Gold fixes DNA, silver cleans the body, and copper flows the blood.
But then also understand that we moving into a gold standard, or that's what the actual hopes and dreams of the actual, because the whole thing is the Fed is being taken over by the actual government. So once that does happen, they hoping to change it over to a gold standard, which could be metaphysical, physical, and spiritual. You know, all in one.
Then it ain't a gold standard. We just choosing as a collective to trade in that. Right now, even if you had a bunch of gold, you couldn't go give it to nobody that would accept it from you. That is not here anymore. The only people that'll accept your gold are pawn shops, and even they're closed right now because the we're no longer on the dollar. Every every country, everybody is trading in these digital currencies behind the scenes. So we off that already, and we've been off that. However, it hadn't fully come back around, and we probably not gonna ever get off the dollar in this country because we use that here. Other countries use their shit. The good thing about us is we own the currency that everybody switched to. So we kind of in the good for the long term, to be honest with y'all. However, it's just your awareness of switching your mindset from, okay, I'm getting out of the currency market. I'm not the currency, but I'm getting out of the paper market. And now I'm gonna accept that we're in the digital market and that my money's all online and everything's gonna be traded within these electronic systems. And figure out how you can become innovative on that side. Figure out, that way it's opportunity for you here versus everything, all the doom and gloom that you've heard.
Right. Don't be a sheep about it.
Shit, this the biggest, man, it's the best. I've never seen so much opportunity in my fucking life. So I think this is a really good space for everybody. Yes, it's hard as fuck, but hard times make you strong.
Yeah, they said it's gonna happen in the West. They said it's gonna happen in the West for real. Yeah, I'm in Houston, Huncho.
Hey, we gotta link up, man. My kids in Houston, so I go back down there a lot, and I'm from Houston, so we gotta link up, man.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm coming down there. I'm gonna hire a bunch of people in Houston, so when I come down there to come hire, man, we gotta link up.
Oh man, that's what I'm talking about. Let's make some moves. Let's make some moves for real.
Yeah, this money they're giving it away to businesses so we can write checks to people who need income. So if anybody got a business, fill that shit out because they giving away money for payroll.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a good idea to do.
Huncho,
I just want to say this one thing in reference to what Hunter just said. Say, for instance, you in a relationship and like it's a man and a woman, whatever the relationship consists of. You know what I'm saying? What's a good thing to do is have one person own it and have another person work for that company, and then
That is exactly
and
what we
then do the other way around. So you own a company, she own a company, and y'all both work for each other's company. Every 2 weeks,
Y'all both write each
draft
other
out
checks.
like either through Square Payroll or ADP. Draft out a paycheck to your partner, and he draft out a paycheck to you. Do that every 2 weeks. Do that shit throughout this whole process. When this shit over, you want to be like, all right, I want to get a car. All right, I want to move into a new house. What they gonna be like? Well, where you work at? I work here. Where your pay stubs? Here. You feel what I'm saying? And actually do that shit. Even if you got a job, just take the money that you got, put it into the business, and what they say, wash that shit. You feel what I'm saying? But understand, like in your relationships, you can create the cash flow that you need. And Honcho and Prime and Shireen, we working more to execute in that, but just sharing that little tidbit of information could take you a long way, family.
Yeah, I agree, man. Start your companies, set up employees. If anybody does need payroll services, y'all can call the Builders Rain. We do offer an affiliate program with ADP that we can get you payroll services, and that way you can put yourself on payroll and get your money. Is this money sincerely is just to pay people? So I mean, most people don't understand accounts payables and accounts receivables. That's understandable. So if anybody is interested, man, like hit us up on the chat, hit us up in on Instagram, and we'll go more into explaining so you know what you're getting yourself into. But truly, put yourself in a position to pay yourself, like sincere.
Yeah, pay yourself first. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if you do get a paycheck, have a system to which you pay yourself and have that on record and have that on file, because you never know when you're going to have to use it in the form of just being an owner and living in a private sector, because it's a public sector and it's a private sector. What's dissolving is the democratic private sector. So we got to understand to, shift our energy to being more private, which private is a more spiritual, personal, magical way of being more prosperous, abundant, more I say what I want and it shall be type of space. We can do that in the private sector. It's hard to do that in the public sector. So understand like the real differences and how to manifest in this world where you could really make this shit hard by being a public individual and not actually filling out forms, paying fucking $50 to get your LLC and shit like that. Like huge disservice.
Yeah, yeah.
Appreciate
You anybody getting pissed off about anything on in the E quadrant from this place from at this particular time, especially where we at, when you could just change tax documents.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about getting information at this point. You just
It's a
don't
damn
sit back.
checklist. It's a checklist. Step one, step two, step three, step four. You know what I'm saying? If you can't do that, then fuck it. Like fuck everything. Like
Go back to school, man. Like when the schools open back up, go back to school.
Yeah, the dude, what was the dude? The dude Kareem Herbalist did some kind of breakdown, some kind of class on the business thing.
mm-hmm,
I did it a few years ago, and he broke it down in steps.
right.
And he told you to get credit cards, put these 1-800 numbers up, have a business account, uh, transfer money from your regular account to your business account every month. It was a lot of steps, and
So that I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. That's a bunch of bullshit too. That shit's unnecessary, and I ain't never, like I said, I've had one W-2 in my life. I've been paying taxes. Well, I ain't been paying taxes, but I have filed my taxes since I was 17 years old. I've given myself one W-2. That was last year because I paid myself checks from all the money I've been making, and I finally put myself on payroll. That shit he talking about is a bunch of old extra shit.
right.
We don't have to do that, man. Like you don't even have to start a company with a board or with a bunch of people. You literally can go start a corporation, and if you need board members, you could put your name down for 10 board members if you need to.
Mm-hmm.
And you could be all the board members. You could be the treasurer. You could be the CEO and the owner. And it's just about filling the documentation out.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, everybody without a DBA is dead, a dead entity. So if you haven't gone to your county clerk's office and announced that you are doing
Secretary of State, which
not
is the
even
Secretary of
This is
Status.
county.
It depends on in the actual city. Like it could be the Secretary of State or
Okay.
Secretary of Treasury,
It's a
depending on where
different.
you at.
It's a little different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm in Texas. It's a little different out here. But yeah, go to your county clerk's office or your Secretary of State. If it is a Secretary of State, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna have an online service. Read the documentation, get you a dictionary, ask questions, seek advice, and then take action. But don't just sit back and say, well, yeah, I did it, and nah, you didn't. Because if it was food, you would have ate. This is how we get food. So we don't want to like not take the steps to do so just because we're ill-informed. And that's a lot of what we do. We just be ill-informed, listening to hearsay, and not taking it into our own account to go and get that empirical knowledge on our own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Honcho, yeah, we definitely got a bill whenever you come down here for real, so we can.
Yeah, man. I run a business out of Houston. I run a business out of Houston, man. Like I went back to Houston a year ago to go start a trucking company, man. I'm running trucks out of Houston. Like we got a link, man. Got a link.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but all information. When getting back to this information idea, all information there's a resonance, there's an energy behind it that you can kind of feel and understand when you hear truth. Like when you hear Honcho, you're hearing some truth vibration in that. You know what I'm saying? So you're like, oh, okay, well, this is something that resonates, that's about to be a part of my new truth, my newfound truth.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
You got to have that open mind to be able to learn. But it's like if my mind is open, then the contents for which that's going to come in is like variable. So if I'm learning, there is no set to like. You would have to close your mind to be like, all right, this is what I have. But if your mind constantly open and constantly learning, you just constantly evolving. So information based on resonance is more liquid than it is fixed. And that's kind of just what I was trying to just bring to the forefront, where you might hear something might be solid for a second, you know, but ultimately it's going to change you. But if you close minded, you ain't going to be able to receive new information in reference to business. Like, and that's something that I had to actually deal with and fight with, you know, just having a closed mind and not being able to deal with new information. But, you know, people like Honcho, people like you, Dream, help me challenge myself fucking every day to just learn
Yeah,
more, be a better person.
remind me to call you after this so we can dive into this Beetlejuice thing, because I was like, damn, something's going on with this thing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it is.
But
Mhm.
it was in line with what you were saying. And you know, I'll tell you offline, man,
Sure,
because
sure,
I'm
sure.
like, damn,
100.
this.
Can I add a final note? Y'all, I just challenge everybody to go look up the definition of empiricism and
And
rationale. Rationale is based off logic, and theory. Imperialism is based off experience and observation. Fact. Rationalism is not fact. Logic is not fact. These things are not. These are theories. These are ideas. And empiricism is a fact.
oh,
So
empirical, EM. I thought you were saying
correct.
imperial like the nation,
Mm-mm.
IMP, but
Nah,
it's
nah, 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 nah.
EMP,
Yeah,
study,
yeah, empirical.
experiments.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct, correct. Scientists use rationale and theory. They do not participate in their experiments. Empirical studies would be the actual practice of you learning yourself and then going outside and experiencing the sun in Pisces today in
Yes.
whatever house.
Yes.
That's empirical knowledge. You know it's there. You felt it. Everybody's feeling the 5G. That's empirical knowledge. We feel it.
Yep. Yep.
Mhm.
We see it. We're observing. Now we may not know the specs. We may not know the
Mm.
Virgo of it, but damn it, we
Right.
all know it's something going on. And
Right.
so instead of settling for theory and logic, I think this next 10 years, everybody should be focused on nothing but
Yep.
empirical knowledge.
Yep.
More or
Word.
less
Word. Because
experience,
that
because that's what I
knowledge.
was saying. Information equates to energy. And sorry to cut you off, Prime, but if it's like,
Yeah, you good. You
if
good.
you have information, that's the same thing as having electricity. It needs a computer. Now, if you have a computer, that computer's still going to need the electricity, meaning that these two things are made for each other. Knowledge and information are motherfucking having sex. So if your information is just like masturbating, you know what I'm saying, just reflecting on itself, then you not doing shit. But if your information got you into the point of like, I'm about to buy me some goddamn organite, you know what I'm saying? Like, finally. Like, these are the things that spirit, man, I'm telling you, organite is probably one of the most potent energies one can actually have in their home, in their bedroom, so on their person. So it's just like, hell yeah, everything is opening up to what we need to actually protect and produce positive things. But if you don't
Yep.
buy the shit, if you don't do
Yep.
like Dream buying Organite, a nigga might listen to you Dream and be like, shit, Dream bought Organite and really feel good off that shit.
Yeah, I had bought some organite from Jerry Miller like 4 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Still got that buy. It was a buy
Who
from
know how
that
to
piece.
make organite?
Jerry
Yeah,
Miller,
that's the real
Circulate Energy.
Jerry Miller, Sandra Fraser, and somebody. There's another chick that make organite too, man. I don't remember her name, but
I want to
she.
get in the business.
And I'm telling you,
It's
yeah,
easy
because
to
that
make
might.
too. You can mold it. It's just a mold and glass, and then you gotta just kind of be creative with how you want to set everything up. But
Trying to set the field, you know?
circulatenergy.com, Jerry Miller, he on Facebook. You said somebody else, Dream.
Sandra Fraser, his wife, but his Jerry Miller's wife also, she be having the little pendants and stuff like that. Like,
Mhm.
I got this organite pyramid that I got from Jerry a long time ago. It is literally glued. I don't know how the hell it got glued. It's literally glued to my damn dresser and shit.
Crazy. That
Ain't
heat, that
stuck.
Texas ass heat, done melted and probably froze and some shit.
Oh
Yep.
man, this shit look crazy, though. Let's show you.
Yeah,
But
Organite is
nah,
powerful.
yeah, but that another aspect of this whole thing, just to tie all this stuff up, is still the knowledge is within. So
Mm-hmm.
everything
100.
will come you when you go within. So when you close your motherfucking eyes and get into this real world, which is the the world of imagination,
Mm-hmm.
right? And get in and fall into that, now you're able to uh create this self-identity that you claim to be. So
I say.
now as you're molding this self-identity within your imagination and you're walking in this illusionary world day by day, things and ideas will start to come to you. You know what I'm saying? People will start to come to you, like Honcho coming to me. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like this thing is a attraction thing.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's about you having the capacity to understand to go close them eyes every day consistently so you can be the person that you set out to be. You
Mm-hmm.
see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because everything doesn't it's not going to start from outside. Things are going to just happen outside that you be like, oh, well, that's a coincidence. Oh, well, but we know there is no such thing
There's
as a
no such
coincidence.
thing.
So
That's
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 why.
my thing. That's how I think that this is the invisible war that Trump is referencing. The war that we able
Mm,
to be imaginative beings, right? And tap
mm,
into that invisible realm, and
mm,
we actually can do it. And they're fighting against that shit,
And they
bro.
can't do and they can't do that shit.
They can't do it,
right.
and they want
They
to
They were
can't.
not
create
designed.
the
They
circumstances
was
for which you to not do it, but they actually doing it in verse. Like they creating a circumstance for you to do it. My thing is they should have just kept niggas going to work and keeping things
real
Right.
status
shit.
quo.
Right.
I'm sorry if it is that way, you know what I'm saying? But damn it, them people that was made in the lab, you know what I'm saying? They don't have everything.
Right.
This
Well,
is the
you heard Panic. That nigga Panic said that shit, and it blew my mind. He was like, "Hey, man, it just is what it is." Like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
they scrambling around. They putting on a show from the outside. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
And
Not
that's
trying to
form,
talk
but that's
down on.
form. That's information. Form is
Right,
the outward appearance of shit. So information is
right. So they
creating the
just putting
outward
on the show.
appearance.
Right. So they just putting on this thing because they confused them damn self. They're
100.
confused about the whole thing. So they just waiting for one of us
Right.
to push the envelope
yep.
and then
Y'all,
and then they can say, hey, look,
y'all,
it's right here.
man, y'all on point, man. Y'all on point, man. If y'all could, if you got if we all had a study on the Great Depression
Mm-hmm.
and the planets that were around during that time and the planets that are around right now,
I'm gonna
you
tell
can
you right off
totally
the
tell
rip.
why it's this
I'm gonna tell you right off the rip. It's
Uranus.
Uranus or Uranus transit.
It's
1933
Uranus.
to
Yep.
2020 is 87 years. How long is a Uranus transit? 84 years. So you got a 3 year variance between the actual transit between the Great Depression and now. So understand the
Also,
knowledge of the Great Depression and what people did to thrive throughout that process, which was like a 3-4 year period. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
but people didn't die though. Like I mean, people did die, but everybody didn't die, meaning that you made it through it. You know, certain people thrived, and the actual cycles of the actual world is what we actually experience. And so if we could kind of internalize those cycles and then like we've been saying, apply the knowledge, then as far as these financial literacy, community building, um having ways to teach and deliver knowledge, you know, just stepping our fucking games up, then we'll understand this shit. But if we just kind of doing this shit like the sheep, man, you might as well cancel Christmas, because that Great Depressing energy is real, and they trying to usher that shit back in.
that
Word.
most
Word.
they doing that with they're definitely doing that. What they
Man.
did during that time was all of what we see now as elites.
Right,
They were not elites yet.
right. They was getting there.
They was getting there, but what the elites did was they funded the government to help society, and society went on
The Social Security
the,
Act.
the socialism shit.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They had wars, they had a boom, a lot of men was gone,
Hmm.
like, and women was here. So women was here by themselves, but I'm gonna say this. Daddy gone, women here by themselves, home broken up. Pluto
Hmm.
was in and Pluto was in Cancer during that transit. Pluto's in
Mm.
Capricorn now. So just
The opposite
that
side.
polarity alone, every business is fucking shut down.
Every business is shut down the
And
moment that
everybody
Pluto
at home.
transit into Capricorn. When it was on the cusp of Capricorn, when it was at 0 degrees, it literally shut down
Shut
everything.
down.
And if you even look up anybody writing on Pluto transiting into Capricorn, because Pluto is such a powerful transit, this literally shit written up. This is going to transform the way that we live our world. Our financial markets is going to turn upside down. Years and years and years and years and years before. And
The Mayans warned us about that shit.
the way that we look at astrology and our senses is like we just kind of fuck with it. It's very interesting shit, right? But at the end of it, all of this shit was predicted and written out. So it was just like either you go and tap into this, and not to say that you need to study astrology, but you need to understand that part of your ancestors that look at things from 10, 30, 40, 50 steps ahead and operate in that actual moment as if a knowing is it
Yeah,
existing. So and
yeah,
all of this shit, what I've experienced is that actual insight where I don't understand my actions when I act or when I say it or when I affirm shit with my wife, babe, we just gonna do this. And then I
hmm
might even be scared about that shit 2 weeks later. But you said we was gonna do, yeah, you're right, I did say that. And do it and then be like, that's what I needed to fucking do. So it's just like
hmm
all of this is just trying to bring you into the awareness that we can be 10 steps, 20 steps, 30 steps, 40 steps ahead of this shit if we understand the celestial movements within ourselves. And how do we understand the celestial movements within ourselves? Just
You gotta
pure
get on the
meditation,
long wave.
breathing,
Yep, get on the long wavelengths.
and
Yep,
accept the fact that we know what's happening.
yep,
Yeah, man, that
Admit
really
that
be
shit.
it. Accept that shit.
Fuck the
Accept that
information.
shit.
Fuck the information. Accept the meditation that we know. You know, our ancestors fuck with us. Our ancestors got
We don't
us.
believe.
We gotta really
That go
believe
back to
that shit.
being
But
out of
that's
Pisces.
Jupiter. But that's Jupiter conjunct Pluto right now.
Hell yeah, bro. Hell
expansion.
yeah. Hey, your belief system has been torn down and has to expand. We not in Pisces no more. We're in Aquarius, the I know sign. So
Mhm.
all that belief system shit is over.
Right. It's over. And
Believe in what you know.
believe yourself. Believe your meditations. That's all I can say. Argue like we're
Yeah,
gonna argue. We gonna argue because I'm down for that. Because ultimately, I'm just referencing what I believe within myself, anyways. And I'm not even trying to get you to believe what I believe. I want you to believe in what you believe in. You feel me? And have the connections that you're supposed to have. Because shit, it's a game down here. Don't fuck with my Grand Theft Auto shit. I'll be damned if you fuck up my shit. I'm about to go to the damn strip club in a second. You know?
Honcho now arguing, man. They argued in the Great Debaters around in 1934.
Mhm.
I ain't arguing, man. I'm doing out here. I want to be surrounded by people that want to do and people that's smarter than me in they fields.
Mhm.
So I
man.
can.
I just want to say one thing on the psychological warfare bit, man.
Mhm.
Part of that too, like in line with what y'all are saying, we're all your nervous system is like an antenna tower, and we're all radio stations, and we can receive and we can broadcast,
Russia.
and we broadcast through our nervous system, through our hormones, through every bit of physicality that we occupy in this time space reality.
Mhm.
And the best thing we can do is get on them long range wavelengths like you and Hancho was talking about the planets coming back around, thinking 40, 50, 100, 1,000 years in advance, right?
Russia. Right.
That's why I got respect for Andre 3000. I mean, who the hell, man, come on. Ain't nobody
Mhm.
was thinking like that till he claimed his name on that.
Right.
But to
Right.
get on that long wavelength, you got to be grounded in yourself. You got to be sure of yourself. And it's like, if we get too much involved with this war, this
Mhm.
so-called war,
Mhm.
you know, then we might lose sight of the bigger picture. But if you dive into yourself to cultivate long range wavelengths, planning, thinking, grounding, then you're gonna take care of all of that in one swoop. And it's like individually as people, if we can just get off of the hype
Right.
because psychological warfare, in my experience, has one end, and the end of that is somebody is having the collective aim their collective energy in a particular direction.
Right.
Fuck that. If this is the time to aim your energy where you need it to be,
Right.
because right now it's going to have a lot of strength, and the reason it's going to have a lot of strength is this: the whole collective is concentrated on one thing.
Mm-hmm.
You got all that energy going in one direction. That's not static. That's like a pure tone,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
So now if you transmit your tone to where you want your life to be,
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to come up against world static. So
Ashe.
right now is the best time for everybody to just
Ashe.
get their ass in gear
I
and
said that in the
focus on
last
what they
video. When niggas go left, I go right.
right.
You gotta create your own harmony, your own frequency, your own resonance. And it's like in Dream's video last night, he was talking about he didn't deal with the nigga tree, even though grew up in the hood, even though did all of the hood shit, sold all the drugs and things of that nature. Something innate was like, I'm not like this. I'm a little different and eccentric. Well, that difference and eccentricness is now rulership and kingship.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That eccentric nature, that weird, that spiritual shit that your parents was looking at you weird about is actually your crown. It's your
Yeah,
corona.
yeah.
It's your corona, and this is
And
your
that shit on,
coronation.
nah,
You know what I'm saying?
that shit,
Put your crown on and, exalt yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
Oh
crazy.
man,
Because
I
my
told um,
my homeboys and shit, they still in this drug game like crazy, and they making some money. Don't get me wrong, they doing some shit, but they in a whole nother energy vibration because they stuck in their root chakra. Like they can't even think. Like I came to them, I
Mm-hmm.
said, look, let me get 20,000
Mm-hmm.
and let me try to invest for you. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? And they know
mm-hmm.
I'm legit. They know I'm, what I'm saying, I'm a come straight up and down with them, but they have a hard time understanding stuff instead of throwing $3,000
At the strip
in the
club.
club, in the strip club for no damn reason,
the
Mm-hmm.
people perish for a lack of knowledge.
just to
Yeah.
show off in front of, in front of nobody's other niggas that they don't even know. I'm like, oh, man,
And then at
I
this
could have took
age,
this
I've
money.
noticed like my friends would be having real life health problems and health issues that it's like, man, is the money worth it? Is the flexing on Instagram
Yeah,
worth it? Like, it be real shit going on
and
with
they
people.
just on a whole nother vibration. So you can tell it's like talking to a brick wall. That's why I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad I
Mm-hmm.
found people online because the online world is really where it's at. Like these your friends, these family members and shit, they're not gonna understand this shit. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know why they can't see it, but it's like look, I used to say, hey, let's have this round table. All right. And then niggas get drunk and shit, man. They don't want to talk about nothing but
Ooh, I can't
females.
stand when that shit happen.
Like, damn, let's talk about some. God damn, them niggas dead. So I had to remove myself from that energy because I could just see the accidents waiting to happen all the time. It's just
Warnings, man. Them warnings for anybody who don't know.
exactly.
See, like anytime you gotta force something, force your will in order to make something happen, it ain't supposed to happen. When it's supposed to
Right.
happen, that shit just happen, and you be
Wu
looking
Wei.
like, damn, that
Wu
was
Wei.
amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, man. And it's just learning how to, build those resonance and build those connections. And of course, having those particular platforms where we can link up and meet and talk and shoot the shit. So I want to invite everybody over to the Slack platform, which the link is located in the description. We like 80 strong. Everybody that's on this chat right now, presently, Dream, Prime, and Honcho, are members of the Slack. It don't cost money. It's free. It's just a place where you can come, fellowship, build, meet people on the spiritual path. And I guess the common denominator is me. So that ain't, I don't know how you would view that, but I think it's a beautiful thing because, I'm just trying to keep it pure and keep it honest and keep it open. And if people is on that actual wavelength, then you might want to find other people like that. And it gets to a point sometimes people say, well, I haven't met nobody that's even on that level. Join the Slack. It ain't a dating app or nothing like that, but at least you could at least have these kind of conversations, have questions about your dreams, experiences. I seen people kind of showing their kids and stuff like that and stories behind their kids. Very heartwarming, touching, real people shit. When you on Facebook, Instagram, you don't know who's the bots and who's the humans and who's the agents and who's the real people. But the Slack is, bot free, agent free. You feel me? Same rules apply. You can block people, stop talking to people, all of those types of things. But this is a wonderful, wonderful platform for us to come to get together. So that's not an advertising nor it's a promotion. It's just an invitation for you to join. Click the link in the description or email me and say, bruh, I want to join the Slack, and I'll send you an invitation. And beyond all of that, man, I just want to thank these brothers for actually joining me on this show and having, bringing this whole conversation to light in a different various forms and fashions, because within these actual shows I find that it's very important for me to talk, but then to also give other people the opportunity to be able to speak, and so they can actually infect it, not infect but affect people in their particular ways. So shout out to Honcho, shout out to Prime, shout out to Dreamwise, and hopefully we can do this again some other time. Y'all got anything y'all want to say before we hop out?
Yeah, ladies, women, it's y'all time. It's y'all time to, like, stand up, get in the courthouses, start owning your businesses, getting these loans and coming up, man. This is sincerely the time for women to, like, rise. I am in full support of queening women in this business field. So if there are any women that are interested in wanting to start their business, learn about astrology so you can learn how to apply it in your life, any of that shit, join the Slack so that we can empower you.
Word,
That's
word.
all I gotta say.
I just want to say, man, I had to tell my daughter yesterday, and this is along the same lines, and I agree with you, Honcho. It's time for the feminine to run the planet. It's time for that goddess energy to reemerge. I told my daughter, I said, baby, you cannot lower yourself to help other people. The only way you're gonna help other people is to be an example, to rise. You don't
Usher.
lower yourself to help people rise above. You rise, and it's on them to keep up. That's
Man,
it.
I'm driving by Chick-fil-A right now. Somebody figure out how much it is to own a damn Chick-fil-A. Shit, let's try to
250 cash, $2.5 million in assets. What you talking about?
ooh, shit.
Hey, bro, I
Yeah,
dug this
yeah.
business shit, man. We gotta
And
talk.
then look, and then it's crazy. One of my homeboys, well, he not my homeboy no more, but he actually owned a Chick-fil-A. So I'm like, God damn, this motherfucker good.
Mhm.
So it's kind of weird that he accomplished that goal. You know what I'm saying? It's not weird, but it is what it is. Hey, boys out here making strides at this thing. That's where the plan is at.
Mhm.
You know?
No doubt.
Yeah, man.
But a chicken business is where the money at anyways. You do Chick-fil-A or do your own little spring. You might want to do the franchise, but then you could do your own little shit and probably make a little
Well,
bit more.
The Chick Fil A is like because them boys just be lining up like a
100.
goddamn
100.
The
like
numbers that
a lot of
the,
chicks.
the numbers there from the outside. You ain't even gotta look at the business. Numbers there
Yeah.
from the outside.
Yeah, you can see.
Right. You don't even gotta look at it. You can just be like, God damn, I know they right. It don't matter what Chick Fil A you go to, it's always a long ass line, but everybody always be nice.
Mhm. Mhm.
So they got something going on, and even though I think it's like a Christian business or something
Yeah,
like
it
that,
is.
and the motherfucker don't even eat chicken. So
Yeah.
goddamn.
Yeah, I will open up a chicken business and not eat chicken though, cause chicken is just easy
But
money.
But if we was to all collaborate and figure out a business, I'm pretty sure Huncho might know a business that 20,000 that's probably like
Absolutely,
$20,000.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
That's probably the goal to go for first, where we can line up the paperwork and everything and shit. And they can get something rolling for real.
Yo, I got some shit I want to present, but I can't seem to get everybody in the same room at the same time. So I hope that within the next 48 hours we can talk, because I got businesses. I have some shit I want to expand on, and also I felt like we needed a research and development company amongst us. How the elite, or how white people, or anybody who is running successful companies, they have research and development companies that they spend big money on. People pay for information. So us saying that we know shit is because we really know it, we experienced it, we studied it. But us having a fucking research and development company that's all they do is research shit and give us facts and empirical knowledge on making decisions. This is how we don't fail.
Yeah, I love
We
it.
don't have
I
to get
love
in
it.
our feelings about shit. What the data say? And let's make a sound decision as a team.
Yeah, man.
Power.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's real powerful, you know. And yeah, man, it's just more or less of cuz within Slack, you can utilize the Zoom platform and you can set up a meeting time. All you got to do is hit like /Zoom, and then like you can call for a meeting time, and then if you want to put everybody on notice, just tag everybody within the Slack that you want, or even do a Google Calendar or
Yeah,
some
because
form, a Google Calendar invitation. But once you set it and see who's going to accept the invitation, and if people can accept the invitation, then just expect people to show up. That it's hard to, especially nowadays
I'll get to working on it.
with kids and stuff. Just if it's scheduled, then it's happening. If it ain't scheduled, it's hard. It's gonna be hard. You know what I'm saying? But within the Slack, it's a group. You can do the group email too, so we can all get on board. But you was already doing that yesterday. But
Yeah.
just add Dream to the email, and of course anybody
I
else.
got you, Dream. I get it all set up because I think everybody deserves it. Everybody deserves this kind of shit. So, and this is like, the silver platters and the good schools.
Mhm.
Us as a community, we all deserve to have the things that make the community better. The things that make the community better is innovation, not the day-to-day operations of the business, or not the day-to-day way of how to run it. It's how many ideas can we come up with and execute on.
Yeah, that's it.
So I said I brought this research and development thing up so that we can be all of us, Dream, Hood, Prime, we all doing stuff separately, we all doing stuff together, but we would all have a place to go for questions to be answered. And high schoolers, kids in college, and people who just need to learn all can come in and volunteer at this nonprofit organization that provides our community with real empirical knowledge, not theory and not logic.
Hells yeah. Yup.
Yeah, but you have products, you have research and development, you have marketing, you have selling, you have all of these particular platforms and different innovative
I
techniques.
didn't want to get them off.
Yeah, I know. I'm
You
just
right.
I'm just
I
speaking
didn't
things into existence of just ways that we are efficient and profitable, and then also thinking about ways to help and better our communities. And we might imagine to do these things in the realms of being an individual, but within those constructs, you are grossly limited to what you can and can't do, and all of those particular things. What makes your power unlimited and your prospects unimaginable is to actually connect with people, form businesses, work with people, and then learn how to protect your assets, protect your liabilities. For the business is just a function for which positive things can happen to you. If the world collapse, people sue the business, they ain't suing you. You know what I'm saying? If the business tank, you don't tank. You could only grow from these particular situations. And I only reference that because this is how these motherfuckers get down. They don't.
This is how it go.
That's
This is
how it go.
how it go.
It's
Yeah,
either
yeah.
going
You
to
see Donald
benefit
Trump,
you or
he
not.
got exactly. Donald Trump is the master at that, man. Hey, that ain't me. He got so many defaulted businesses
everybody default on something though. That's a perception. We all have lost a car, an apartment, a house, something.
Yeah.
That don't necessarily mean that we stop working.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
they
I'm
life
just saying
don't be
from
over.
the aspect
Shit, when
of,
you lose $1 billion asset, you a valuable motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
right, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying from the asset of where he playing the game at. You see what I'm saying? With these entities stuff. But that's all he's doing is just, hey, that entity didn't work. Y'all see Shark Tank, that whole thing is just, hey, okay, we'll give you this money. This shit is our
Play
our
money.
watch money.
Monopoly
Our-
money. I was about to get this all to a stripper. Here, start your business.
Monopoly is one of their projects to see how people would respond to the new fiat currency in 1929 after the crash. By the way, thought I'd let y'all know.
Nice.
But no, it's perfect too, Huncho, because I'm driving around this thing and we do need to be research and development because these businesses looking crazy out
They
here.
looking
Look
real
like
sick and
nobody.
shabby.
All of these big companies do is they pay big money to the research and development company, which is a nonprofit, to go out and figure shit out. The research and development company files documents with the government to get all of the free money that they give out for people that research and develop.
And let me add to that. Any decent podcast that got like good streams and good downloads, they actually got a whole set, maybe 3 or 4, possibly women doing all of the research, streamlining all of the research, giving them a script. And so what you have on a podcast, all of your information is based upon people actually researching, streamlining it, making it digestible. So within the realms of like information, quote unquote, it has to be researched and fact checked and do all of that. Maybe me and you don't got time for that because we got kids, wife, other shit that we trying to do. Having a research team, that's dedicated, that's on staff, you know what I'm saying, with the actual nonprofit implications surrounding it, so the funding is always there, they researching because they want to do it, that can only help and build the community. What happens is personal entities get tied up into research, and so you torn between, do I want to study or do I want to teach or heal? Because you can't do both. If you have researchers that kind of help you understand information and break it down, then you become a more effective teacher, healer. And maybe we giving up too much game on this.
It's getting deep. Because researchers get paid first. Look, researchers get paid first.
Man,
researchers get paid
we
first.
We need to research these motherfucking masks. These masks out here, these boys wearing these masks like crazy. I'm like, God damn, I'm driving around seeing motherfuckers in masks.
They done made some money.
Yeah, they done tripped out real quick. Dang. I read a post yesterday. It said I just seen somebody smoking a cigarette with a mask on. I'm like, God damn, do that. I said, what the hell is the world coming to, dog?
Shit is crazy.
I'm headed to the post office right now again. I was in the post office yesterday. 5 people behind me with some masks on. I'm like, damn, I must be, I need to start watching the news or something. I'm tripping.
No, it'd be like, you'd be like, no, it make you feel self-conscious to the fact, like, maybe you is the problem and shit. Like, you out here fucking up the whole world because you don't got on a mask. It's real good how they set the whole shit up. They set the shit up beautifully.
Exactly, and I already heard KT. He said it's like you suffocating yourself with that damn mask on. So I'm like, shit, I'm good. I was really looking at everybody else like, dumbass.
Yeah,
right.
I told my queen, we was walking in the park. I was like, baby, we about to go past this couple. You hold your breath because they was just yapping and yapping, and we ain't really had that 6 feet. We was on a small path. I said, hold your breath. We walked past them.
Hell no. Crazy shit.
It's going down out here, man. This is it. This is that, man. This is that energy we talking about, man. This is what we want in chaos. So now it's time to take over the chaos and be in love
Right.
with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Man,
And I
man,
I don't
yeah.
be really plugging my videos and things of that nature, but it's kind of one of my biggest viewed videos. But I did the introduction to Chaos Magic. We had listened to that on our little road trip. That's a classic, bro. Like if you having trouble with this particular energy and you trying to develop a spiritual system and don't know how or where to start, introduction to Chaos Magic, I give out like steps, like we've been referencing steps to actualize and realize Chaos Magic. And I'm just, referencing source material, condensed chaos and stuff. Condensed Chaos is a hard book to read, so I just made it more easier to read. So, get your Chaos Magic in order, family, because that's what's happening. You ain't a chaos being, then I don't know.
Yeah, they got the laws up here and stuff. Yeah, no.
Speaking of chaos
Yeah,
beings,
man.
I gotta attend to one like as soon as possible, family. So I'm gonna cut this short, and I'm gonna deal with
Yeah,
everybody on
Tommy.
the Slack and everything. Thank y'all for joining me, everybody chiming in and stuff. And let's continue this on the chat. Send those invitations out, Honcho, so we can all align on a particular time and space.
Got you.
All right, peace, y'all.
All right, peace.
Peace to the family. Make sure you check out this live stream replay, www.hoodmystic.com for all readings, Patreon, books, so forth and so on, Columbian Exchange for all merch. Beyond that, email me if you have any personal questions beyond what I've already presented at hoodmystic@gmail.com. So from me, John, Mama Mystic, and the whole Mystic Brothers, we saying peace, peace, peace. Everybody have a wonderful day. I'll see y'all on the flip side.